Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. This is Game God Fluent, bringing you episode 16 of Let's Play the Spiderweb Software Masterpiece, Queen's Wish 2, the Tormentor. We are in the tower of the Erudico, and we just cleared a Drake out from the basement, the tunnels under the tower, and we're going to head in and check the tower itself now. So let's get right into it. Sorry if I'm a little tired. I just really want to play, so I should be sleeping right now, but you walk inside the tower. Its courtyard is a strange mix of magic and commerce. Plots of herbs grown in rich soil hauled in from the gentle coast are placed among wagons and piles of goods. Erudico wander around, lost in thought, as merchants and guards try to stay out of their way. Medet is nowhere to be seen. The walkway leads to the entrance of the tower to the north. Our caravan is here. Our masters are odd. Oh, Rasa Elha. A lone robed figure is walking down the path toward you. Her hood is up and you can't tell who she is. She moves towards you with purpose. Her robes are wet and dirty. She has been descending from the high Litha in haste. When she gets close, she says, "Hello again, Prince of Haven. This is a lucky meeting, but brief. I must move on." "Who are you?" She lowers her hood. It is no ordinary traveler. It is Rasa Elha, leader of the Gentle Coast, the woman who gave you permission to travel this road. "I see you travel the pilgrimage road. Doing the Queen's work, I imagine. Haven's help will be needed." "You travel alone?" "I do. I am not without my defenses." She holds up her staff. "The pilgrimage road is safe for a road to travel. It may not stay that way for long." "Surprised to see you up here." "The trip was not expected by anyone. I had urgent reason to travel to the High Litha. Haste was needed." "Why were you in the High Litha?" "They are the watchers of the Rokaj, and I needed to know what they have seen from their peak. There has been too much unrest, worrying rumors, mad tales of a wolf in the mountains." "What sort of wolf?" She looks thoughtful. "I have learned not to spread rumors. When I know truth, I will say it." "There is a lot of chaos in the Rokaj of late." "It has. In the coast, in the Kranas, in the Low Daga. Too much, all at once, all getting worse when you arrived. The Gentle Coast leads the Rokaj. We need to understand what is happening. Thus, my trip." "Aren't things in the Rokaj always bad?" Rasa Elha laughs bitterly. "The things in the Rokaj are never bad. This is a beautiful land. This is my home. I intend to keep it. I must return to the Gentle Coast. When I have learned anything of value, I'll make sure to share it. Safe travels." She walks swiftly to the south. Oh, I should have asked if I could help. I offended her with a kind of dumb answer. Rare dies. Like, aren't things always bad here? Rare spices. Toll office. "We are grateful. You open the gate." Medet smiles calmly at you. Though he is well armed, he's one of the few Rokaj you have met up north who doesn't seem to crave a duel with you. "Oh, I repaired your gate." "So I can see. We are so grateful. We didn't doubt you. We hope that you didn't run into anything too troublesome. Mixed monsters, illusionary horrors, a drake. So nothing troublesome at all. That is a relief. Such perils tend to appear when the Erudico are around. That is why I try to stay in my office and I don't go poking my nose around." Another question. Okay. You enter the main workshop of the tower. The walls and floor are scarred and scorched by centuries of misbehaving experiments. Right now, the workshop has been purposed to one specific use. There's a runed circle in the middle of the hall. A circle of tools and supplies surrounds a glowing pedestal. Whatever magical research is happening here, it is potentially very useful. There's a woman of the Erudico wandering around the tables, examining the tools and mixing ingredients. When you enter, she waves to you. The crafting hall of the tower is administered by this woman. She walks from station to station, making sure that nobody blows anything up. Her path tends to be very erratic. She often forgets what she is doing and changes direction unexpectedly. Then she sees you and her face lights up. Whatever fog she is in, your presence cuts through it instantly. She takes a sip from a flask at her belt, then she runs toward you. I am Erudico. I run the crafting hall. I was told to help you. What are you drinking? She pats the flask. This is clarity brew. The Erudico make it and drink it. It frees our thoughts and lets them fly to new and unpredictable places. It aids in our research. What is in it? Some alcohol, some herbs, but the most important ingredient is quicksilver. Oh, the Ariel back on Sacramentum did this. Quicksilver does change your thoughts, but it also tends to lead to insanity. Very good idea. Carry on then. Of course. She takes a generous swig from the flask. Whatever works. What were we talking about? What do you do for the tower? I take care of the crafting hall. I keep order. I help advance our crafting arts. That is why I wanted to talk to you. The Erudico will prove ourselves. Where are you from? I came down from the High Litha. My people are great crafters, but they must be to stay alive. I had greater ambitions. The Rokaj young who have ambition leave their clans to follow it. Most now leave for Haven. I came to the Erudico. How will you prove yourselves? We show that we still have value by letting you use our crafting pedestal. It is a new magic. I helped to create it. It took great effort and creativity. She sips from her flask. I have another question. Erudico stands at your side, though she is constantly watching the other experiments to make sure that nobody gets blown up. Every so often, she takes a sip from her flask. I want to learn about your crafting arts. Yes, the crafting pedestal. She points at the pedestal in the magic circle in the middle of the hall. It is a new way of creating. It forges both items and knowledge. Sorry, what were we talking about? Crafting arts? Yes, of course. It uses not just mundane physical components, but will. We've only begun to explore all it can do for you, if you approach it with the proper preparation. You are crafting from will? Explain. When the materials to be crafted are assembled on the pedestal, then you will what you want. The materials are then remade, maybe into objects, maybe into thoughts. It depends on what you need and what you have the will to create. Preparation? You need to prepare to use the pedestal. It can change much, even the thoughts of those around. Sorry, what do you need to know about? Crafting arts. That is what I was talking about how you need knowledge and dedication to direct the pedestal, the proper fine materials, and of course, money. I need knowledge and dedication. You can only make the pedestal remake that which you care about. As you build and dedicate your forts, the things that are important to you will affect the paths the pedestal will take. I need money? Yes, to pay us, for mundane materials and for just keeping this place running. This isn't free. She toasts you with her flask. I need supplies. The finest supplies, the knowledge of the Ro, ancient amber from the Kranas woods, deep metal forged in the Lodaga, clarity brew from the High Litha, focusing crystals from our mines. All these together can make... Sorry, what are you doing? Crafting arts. Right, yes, you need all those supplies. And where can I get them? They are what the Rokaj produces. Some we keep here. Others are sold to other vassals. You can find them about. They are rare and precious, but you are industrious. Arid Alsaf asked me to give you some as a token of our sincerity. I will accept your tribute. You are so gracious. She gives you a thin book and a ceramic jar. She's especially loath to part with the second one. Thank you for your help. Your journey is only beginning. Go to the pedestal, touch it, focus. So many paths will be open to you. She leaves you to ponder, or she just wanders off, one of the two. You gain crafting resources, relevant lore +1, clarity brew +1. And that's the crafting pedestal. Haven will not share. Okay. Hide in shadows. Grants a new trainable ability. It enables you to evade the notice of enemies during battle. Aid to infliction gives a 2% bonus to all status effects caused by the character, positive and negative. Oh my gosh. Whoa. Aid to armor gives a bonus of 1 to your character's armor. Charity for Ro. Donates a tiny amount of valuable resources to the Rokaj. This will improve their opinion of you a little bit. Aid to Thought gives your characters a 2% bonus to resisting mental attacks. Gift to Ro donates a small amount of valuable resources to the Rokaj. This will improve their opinion of you a bit. Okay, so this is tiny. This is small. Well, %2 bonus to blessings, 2% bonuses to inflictions. I kind of like Hide in Shadows. Grants a new trainable ability to evade the notice of enemies during battle. It would take 1 Clarity Brew, 1 Ancient Amber, 1 Relevant Lore, and our only Focusing Crystal. We only have 1 Focusing Crystal. Let's see. Aid to Thought. Gives your characters a 2% bonus to resisting mental attacks. That's really nifty. We can do Charity for Ro, it looks like. And one that uses a crystal, which I'm probably going to go Hide in Shadows. So let's Hide in Shadows. You have researched this, okay? Now we still have Charity for Ro we could research. Sure. Okay. I don't get it. So I guess we just go to our character sheet. Hide in Shadows is now available, even though it's not available. Do we have to do something? Did it give us books? Character sheets. Return to a Haven Fort to change your Flawless Crystal, not a Focusing Crystal. So I guess if we go back to Haven, we'd be able to put in Hide in Shadows. Nifty. That's a pretty cool addition that I've never seen before. Erudico's finest work. Ooh. Oh. Not yours. Oh, well. Let's not take them. Yeah, I don't like stealing from the underprivileged. Wow, there's those 3 boxes. The Erudico dumped a bunch of books in this chest, forgetting them to rot. Their library is probably full, so outdated or damaged books were just stowed away. It's standard procedure. The halls under your palace have countless tons of forgotten texts. You dig around a little bit. After a bit of choking on mold and parchment dust, you find a book that is surprisingly intact and recent. It is called Erudico Earth Law. You keep it. Nothing. And nothing. Okay. So let's head down this way. Oh, we could sleep here. Let's go ahead and rest. Do we have a level up to do? I don't think so. There was some reason to go back to the fort. Okay, so that's it for the crafting. That's the end of the tower. Wait, there was someone I was supposed to meet here. Oh, steps. Aha. Erudico, there he is. Who were you? There's a shade in the middle of this cell. It looks like the ghost of a long-dead Rokaj warrior. It stares straight ahead, not reacting to anything you do. An Erud is pacing around the specter. Sometimes he says something to it, or whistles, or jams his hand through it provocatively. When he tires of the effort, he says, I am Erudico. I am studying this shade. Feel free to say hello to it. Hello, ghost. It doesn't respond. Erudico says, it won't talk. Tried everything. How did you get a ghost here? Magic. Doesn't seem to like me. Who knows what it likes? It's pretty full of itself. At least I have a better chance of success than Erud Golsim and her rootling. We know the ghosts will talk sometimes, just not to me. I'd like to know more about the tower. Talk to Erud Alsop upstairs, or the librarian, or Medet, anyone but me. I am busy. What are you doing to that ghost? I'm trying to make contact with the spirit of the dead. I want to be able to communicate with them myself. The usual way is too difficult. I've talked to ghosts. What's the usual way? Typically, we would call a mist talker down from the High Litha. They have been difficult to get, though, so we haven't. Why are mist talkers difficult? Sometimes they don't come at all. When they do come, it takes time. They also charge for their services. I would much rather talk to our dead without their help. Alas, they're the only ones who can force a response. Have you asked the mist talkers for advice? If they found out I was doing this research, they would send the Geld Naz after me in a moment. I need to keep it secret. Actually, I shouldn't talk to you. Please leave. Fealis turns away to look at some books. Once he's looking the other way, the ghost winks at you. You can't get the shade to respond. What are you doing to that ghost? I've talked to ghosts loads of times. Nobody likes a gloater. Anyway, that is because the ghost chose to talk to you. You can't force them to speak. To know one's enemies. Erud Fealis continues in vain to try to provoke a reaction from his ghost. To know one's enemies is to know oneself. There's a long silence. At first you aren't sure if the Erud heard you. Then he speaks. He is intense, quiet, and terse. Help has come. The Eruds are creating a new weapon, the Harvester. The Geld Naz, the assassins, are trying to take it from us. We have no defense against them. We need help. What is the Harvester? I am not sure. I haven't seen the plans. The plans were discovered. The originals were destroyed. A copy was made. While he speaks, the Erud doesn't look away from his shade. It is thought to be a mighty weapon. Nobody has made it. The Geld Naz wants to own the secrets. They can't steal it. Who created the Harvester? I don't know. I don't know where the original plans were found. Who made the copy? Who destroyed them? I found out about the plans. I sent Ciaris to find help. You were found. I will take responsibility for action. Why was the Harvester created? The Erud have always made weapons for the Rokaj. It is one of our great tasks. We are greatly respected for our ability to arm our people. Yet the Harvester, the plans were made and lost. Where is the Harvester? It has never been made. Soon it will be if the Geld Naz have the plans. Made without controls, without being watched over by the Erudico, without the approval of the High Lithans, without control. I am an Erud, and I say this is not permitted. Why are you telling me any of this? Seems like a row matter. The Erud made the Harvester. Therefore, honor commands we control what is done with it, not the Geld Naz. However, I can't leave this tower. If I do, the Geld Naz will see me dead within days. So I will look for help until I find it. What help do you want from me? There are scrolls, designs, for the Harvester. A mighty weapon, or so the papers told us. Never made, but now it is desired. The plans are not far from here, held safely. You need to find them before the Geldnaz assassins steal them. Bring them to me. Why would I want to do this? Because you should not want them in the hands of the Geldnaz. Such power will be turned against Haven, leading to war. I do not hate Haven. You have more knowledge than us, so you are worthy. If the Erudico has this knowledge, it will be controlled. Where can I find the designs? In a place where I can't go without being killed. They are in the Kronos Woods, the south, I believe. They are held by Druid Adhuil. Tell her that I sent you and she will give you the records. Who is Druid Adhuil? She is one of those who keep the groves for the people of the Kronos. However, she also works with the Erudico. She protects the groves and she teaches us about them. She has much respect for the Erudico. That is why she risked all to hide the papers. Where is Druid Adhuil? I don't know. She moves around a lot, both for her studies and to avoid the Geldnaz. I know that she was trying to learn how to replant dead groves. If you find the remains of any dead sacred groves, that would be a place to search. Okay, I'll be going now. The arrow doesn't look away from his shade. Wow, that's pretty interesting stuff. West Advance, the Harvester. Haven knows so much. Erud Golsim. Smolder, Erud Nurbek. Oh, come on. They really tempt you. Not that there's any, there's no consequence at all for stealing. It's just if you want to do it or not. Erud Golsim. You meet one of the younger Erud, perhaps in her late 20s. She's in this cell with a rootling, one of those strange monstrosities that are appearing in the Kronos Woods. The rootling is chained to a post and it sways gently from side to side. The woman concentrates on it. When you approach, she mutters, I am Erud Golsim. Don't disturb the creature. Watch her. She seems to be trying to communicate with the creature. She hums, she whispers, she focuses. Sometimes she taps her foot. None of it seems to be working. Watch the rootling. It sways gently from side to side, just waiting. These creatures are very patient. What are you doing? I am trying to talk to the rootling. I want to know where it is from, why it was made, what it wants. She takes a flask from her hip and takes a sip of it. Does that flask help? When I sip Clarity Brewed, for just a moment I feel at one with plants. I think it will help. How are you trying to communicate? Every way I can. Non-vocal. We already tried all the vocalizations we could think of. Didn't work. So talking won't help. Plants are very poor conversationalists. I have moved on to non-vocal and sub-vocal efforts. I have tried everything I can think of 3 times. The thing just sways. Maybe it is impossible. I ask you to take that negative opinion elsewhere. I will talk to this plant. You leave her to your efforts. The rootling is chained safely to a post. It quietly sways from side to side. Sway, sway. Rasas and Rokaj rule. The Rokaj is not ruled by one single leader. Such an organized system is too simple and predictable for such a wild and fractious land. Instead, each of the 4 provinces of the Rokaj is ruled by a Rasa. Rasas are local kings. Their power over their province is absolute. Though a cruel or incompetent Rasa will not survive for long, the Ro will not tolerate it. The provinces of the Rokaj constantly raid and harass each other. When a dispute between 2 Rasas becomes too violent or disruptive, it is settled by the Rasa of the High Litha. The High Litha is a poor and hungry land, but it is also the repository of the old ways of the Ro. Rasa is not a hereditary position. When a Rasa dies of natural causes or the occasional assassination, there's a period of months where the local clans argue and negotiate. There's a lot of trading and violence in this unstable time. When viable candidates finally emerge, they ascend to the ancient stone circle of Prova Krug and argue and fight until one of them wins the submission of the others. Wow. bed we can sleep in. This back room is full of dust and cobwebs. None of the Eruds have been back here in some time. It seems like a waste of a good storeroom. There's a closed gate to the north. Interestingly, there's a pedestal next to it. There are no levers, wheels, or other controls. There are, however, bowls of colored stones on the pedestal. Some stones have already been set into its surface. It wouldn't let me go right down the middle, so I had to find where it would let me. Oh. Huh. That's not going to work. There we go. Cool, little puzzle. A Erudico cowl. Nice. We'll give that to you. 25 silver coins and rare dies worth 6. Very cool. This little unknown little thing back here in the back room. Erudico. This is an Erud studying in this cubicle. She is sitting cross-legged on the floor and reading calmly. There's only one unusual thing about her. She is on fire. Tiny blazes constantly appear on her body. They burn for a bit, cough out some smoke, and go out. She turns the pages of her book with a stick so that she doesn't actually ignite it. She rises to greet you. I am Erudico. Please be careful. She smiles apologetically. I don't want to set you on fire. Hello? Hello? What are you studying? Just a work of history. I've been asked to read up on the ways clans of old settled disputes when selecting rasas. There's a lot of interest on the topic lately. So, yes, a little flame erupts on the back of her right hand. This is a bit awkward. I understand completely. Feel free to ask. A fire on her left ankle burns itself out. Why are you on fire? Just an experiment gone wrong. I used to work in the workshop. I was mixing up a tricky brew. Some of it spilled on me. Since then, I've been a constant blaze, irritating sometimes. It isn't painful? Not really. A bit ticklish in places. When is it irritating? When I want to enter the library? When I want to deal with other people? When I walk through a forest at the peak of summer? I have to keep to myself much of the time. Any chance of putting yourself out? I think so. When I'm through with this research, I'll head down to the crafting hall and try a few things. I'm optimistic about finding a cure if I don't blow up the tower. The smoke in the room is starting to make you choke. You politely excuse yourself. That's pretty cool. Alright, up we go. Fauske. There's at least one man in the Tower of Erudico who isn't heavily armed or lost in abstract thought. He's a beefy, middle-aged fellow in an apron dusted with flour. He looks sleepy and he has big bags under his eyes. He walks up to greet you. Welcome to the Tower, Haven. I am Fauske. The others feed your mind, but I'm the only one here who can feed your body, if needed. What do you do here? I'm the cook. The Eruds, they would let themselves die if they weren't reminded to eat. Too much clarity brew, I think. He shrugs. It's what brought me here. Feels like I have a real purpose. Where are you from? The Gentle Coast. That's where I was brought up. Learned to cook. They have high standards down there, as I wager you saw. Why did you leave? The Gentle Coast has high standards, just maybe not in the right things. I have another question. Fauske self-consciously brushes the flour off his apron. Sorry, forget I'm talking to royalty. Need anything to eat? He stifles a yawn. You seem tired. I am tired. The Erudico keep an unsteady schedule, and I'm woken up at all hours of the night. When they want to eat, they are loud about it. I don't like that part of it. Still an honor to be here. An honor? The Erudico are so important to the Rokaj. They are not valued as much as they should be. They are old and neglected. I look after them. I would like a meal. He serves you some bread and soup. It is the blandest food you have ever tasted. Fauske notes your reaction. Apologies. The Erudico are very picky. They tend to develop a dislike for flavor. I would like a drink. You get a mug of the traditional drink of the Rokaj, fermented whatever. It has been watered down so much you can barely sense the drink. Fauske smiles. We learned centuries ago, don't let an Irud get drunk. Very dangerous. That is all. It was an honor to serve. For once, this row seems like he actually means it. Box. With a free amethyst orb. Why not? We're starting a collection. Erud Alsaf. The Erudico is fading. You meet an old, withered man. His desk is worn and pitted, with tiny holes. The rug is threadbare, worn by the tracks of the countless students and masters that have passed through here. He motions for you to sit in the chairs in front of the desk, as if you were just one more wayward student. He is polite enough to pour you some tea. Then he looks up at you with cloudy and distant eyes. I am Erud Alsaf. I am the master of the tower. Now that Haven has remembered that the Rokaj exists, I'm glad you found a moment to speak with me. We are your vassal, and we owe you. I'd like to learn about the Erudico. I am honored. We are thinkers and researchers of the Rokaj. We keep histories. We make magic. We collect books of all sorts. Sometimes we are strong, sometimes weak. Now we are in decline. Few students come. I don't really think of the Rokaj as scholars. Outsiders see my people as mindless barbarians. This is wrong. Barbarians, perhaps. Mindless, no. We honor our history and we value power. The Erudico keep both. Do you study the arts of war? Of course. The Rokaj are always surrounded by war. We practice on each other and then outsiders bring it to us. We must study war. Students don't come to you? The Rokaj is a backwater and Haven is huge. The brightest among us tend to leave now to study in the finest colleges in the most peaceful lands. They leave and we almost never see them again. Like they were tempted away, like your father. Why have you declined? Because when we are a vassal of Haven, we can't compete. What do you mean? Haven has so many vassals. Many of those vassals are larger and wealthier than we are. They have more towers, more mages, more researchers. They are simply faster than us, but the wheel turns. The wheel turns? When the Rokaj stands alone, that is when the Erudico are the most influential. One day Haven will be gone. Our conquerors always leave eventually. It may be centuries from now, but it will happen. Another question. What do you owe us? What resources can you... Erud Alsaf speaks quietly with you. When the level of your tea dips even a tiny bit, he pours more for you. Sometimes he nods off for a few moments. What do you owe us? What resources can you provide? The Erudico are withered. Most of our towers are abandoned. We discover few things now. What knowledge we have, what advances we made in crafting, these are at your disposal. That is what our treaty of vassalage with you requires, of course. I could use more knowledge. Then you should consult our library and speak with our librarian. Haven has not sent us many books, so we have little that would interest you, but help yourself to what you find. I think some of our older books are being stored in the low chambers as well. I'm interested in crafts. Then that is one area where we might actually offer you something new. Talk to Erud Zukra in the main crafting hall. I'm on a diplomatic mission here. And you are dealing with your governors and our Rasas. I understand that. The Erudico tend to be off to the side when such great matters of state are discussed. So it is not my place to mention that Haven stopped sending us books. When did we stop sending you books? I don't know. Haven stopped noticing us not long after your father, Consort Darmal, died. Before, Haven always sent us the most recent scrolls. Now we are forgotten, a backwater of the mind. What sort of books do you want? We need to learn the new techniques for crafting and magery. If we don't have them, we can never be a full vassal, of equal import and value to the other vassals. I don't know who decided to neglect us or why, but this could change. If I had permission to request these works in your name, of course, we could compensate you for your aid. He looks at you expectantly, hoping for your aid. It is tempting to buy their favor, but your mother is very careful not to enable vassals to get too much unsupervised power. Send a message to Haven telling them I granted your request. I will do this. I thank you for your kindness. I will make sure the Rokaj knows of your generosity. Even though it would be your right to go back on your word, I hope you do not. He stands and unlocks the door to the south. In return, I will give you access to my chambers. The papers and equipment within are yours to take. This is only a start, of course. There is other knowledge we seek. What other knowledge did you want? Well, I know you are traveling our land. I don't know how far you are going. You do have a reputation as a wanderer. In the last 2 centuries, the Erudico have abandoned many of our towers. The greatest loss was the Deep Towers. The Deep Towers? There are many enormous cave systems under the Rokaj. We built a tower in one of them close to the center of the world. There are powers that can be tapped into down there, but the tower was lost. None of us have been there in over a century. We want to rediscover it. There is something we need to know. How can I reach the underworld? Shamefully, I do not know. There are tunnels into the underworld, but they seem to shift about. Earthquakes close some, open others. Of course, you have no real reason to enter the underworld, but if you did, the Deep Towers might be in your path. His wrinkled face is calm, almost detached. He isn't telling you something, but you have no idea what. What did you want to know exactly? We have a tendency to improperly clean our towers when we leave. Strange magics can take root when we are gone. We want to know if the Deep Towers are still abandoned, and if not, what resides there. Why was the tower abandoned? Arid Alsaf shrugs. Lack of staff. It takes a strong spirit to live in the underworld for long, in the darkness and surrounded by dark powers. We just didn't have enough people to keep the place. If I come across the Deep Towers, I will explore them, maybe. I'm sure it is unlikely, of course. All I want to know is what powers reside there, if any. If you find any interesting old books or trinkets, please keep them if you think they would be useful. Okay, thank you, Alsaf. I'm going to F3, aiding the Erudico. This is really interesting stuff, man. Yeah, just very cool. Erudico, there's so much more. The chambers back here. I'm going to save here, though. And, pick this up next time. I want to thank you guys for joining me. Stay tuned because so much more to come. We're just learning the tip of the iceberg here about this vast and crazily creative world that Jeff has created here. Jeff Fogel. And, yeah, the rabbit hole goes very deep and I'm really enjoying it. Just talking to people, getting to see the different sights and sounds and smells and tastes. It's very immersive. You know, I feel like I'm really in these places, strangely enough, even with the graphics, just how they are and stuff. I do feel immersed in the game. And I hope you guys do too, and I hope you'll join me for more. Much more to come, as I said. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys. Much love, peace, and joy. Take care, and next time, we will discover even more, I'm sure. And have much more fun. Peace out.